All right, I'm just going to share this quick video with you to get your guys' opinion as far as the Teacher Evaluation Committee on some of the aspects of this peer review process that's going to be happening on the 19th. This is the presentation that I started up. I will be sending it out to each one of you guys to take a look at. But one of the parts that has been hanging us up a little bit is on that post-reflective piece. I'll just kind of run through this real quickly. But we're going to get down here and we're going to talk about why the district chose the evaluation model where teachers could focus on, again, our self-growth, not as much in terms of the growth of the other teacher, because we as wanted to see more mentors within the building instead of doing the coaches, the teacher coaches. So everybody is actually becoming a coach. So we did this peer-to-peer reciprocal portion of it. And in that, we want to talk about the operations of that peer-to-peer. And so the slides I want to show you is when we get to this website that is created, it'll be linked in there. This peer-to-peer reciprocal portion is that we do have our self-assessment, and then we have our pre-conference that should be done. Now, once a pre-conference has been received from your peer, you are going to then conduct the observation. Now, some of the things that is up in the air is the differences between what we have now as a peer-to-peer and or the informal versus the formal. Now, in our documentation on the website that we have set up, this is a document that Amanda set up, kind of going through the process of peer-to-peer review, which is great. It is a really nice step-by-step process. But the one thing I've been noticing with iObservation, it doesn't lend itself very well for the peer-to-peer process as the post. Now, in part 3, it states here that what you're going to see, is that you have, upon finishing your observation, is now time to send the post. Again, what we're going to do in that is go to iObservation, Observation tab, Pre-Post Conference, just like you would set up a pre-conference, and then selecting on a reflection piece. So if I'm going to select over here, this is the process that would take place. Go under Observations, select Pre-Post Conference. I want to create a new one, but I want to do a reflective one. So I'm going to select here on the reflective piece. But when I want to send it to myself for my self-growth, it doesn't allow it to do so. It only allows the individuals that are more administrative based. Now, we can work around that by sending it to somebody else and then finding our name. So if I wanted to do that, that can work. And we can add it, so we can still send it, but it is not really meant to do this. I think what it really works well is during a formal observation, which is the required piece. And so I'm thinking in terms, and this is just me reflecting, and I've talked with a couple of the administrators as well, is that when you look at the informal reflective piece, so years 2 and 3 on the continuing ed, that they have the vital conversation after the observation, but they do not need to complete this reflective post on iObservation. If they wanted to have something in writing, they could, but it's not necessarily. So what I have kind of in a quick writing is kind of a walkthrough. During a formal observation, so this would be year 3, or I should say, year 1 on continuing, but on non-continuing, this would be happening all the time, or at least their formal observation. You have your pre-conference done. That pre-conference would be sent out by your administrator. Your observation will be done by your administrator, and that administrator would also be sending you that same post-conference, a reflective piece. Everybody will do it at least once in those 3 years. That way they have that reflective piece that they could use for the licensure if they chose to. But even if they did not have that, they could go back to their data from the other observations that were done in the peers during their informal years. So in the informal years, they still set up that pre-conference. I think that is vital so that you know what you're walking into. If you're walking into a class where you have a number of special ed students or individuals that just do not get along in terms of with other outside helpers, they get very distracted. If there's certain aspects that are going on in the classroom, it's good to know what you're coming into. And so having that down in writing gives you an opportunity to really reflect on what you may be seeing. Then you do your observation. That observation is done by the peer, and once that is completed, you have a conversation. And that conversation is the vital aspect that we're looking for. That conversation piece between you and your peer is the part where we hope to see your guys' growth. Now, if that is not applicable, maybe doing under the iObservation, instead of doing here, go under the collaborate and do a discussion board for a quick reflective piece based upon how that lesson went. That is an opportunity that you could choose, but again, it's a non-informal, it's an informal observation, so I don't think in terms of the reflection piece, I don't think it's quite needed on the eye observation. Why I'm sending this out to you is to get your guys' view, because on Monday we need to get that sent up. So I want to get your opinion on what you think is needed. So when we get back to this January 19th day, does everybody have to complete a post observation in eye observation when it's not necessary? Or does it only need the post observation written up completed during your formal years, which was been sent out by your administrator? Okay, that's kind of the main question. I think when we get down to our other ones, when we get into the group review, we've already talked about that being on a discussion board, because again, that's the meaningful real time that we want. That's the reflective piece that we need. And so that discussion board will happen as well. The first one will take care of our state statute, that peer-to-peer reciprocal. So this is where a state statute is being held up. Like to get your opinions on that. Please send it in the email and reply all, so then everybody can get an idea. And so then that way on Monday, I can at least get this in the presentation, and we're all on the same page. Thank you.